if you're a fan of controversy, both games tonight ended in controversy. Now, I gotta say, this one baffled me, and this one baffled me too. So, officials are definitely going to be explaining this after games. I would think the NHL may be explaining this after the games are done. Because when does a referee blow the whistle? Apparently not during a fight. And apparently they mean to before a goal goes in. But nobody heard it. It's fine. So, alright. Let's go ahead and dive headlong into this. Because boy, oh boy. Toronto went into New York against the Rangers tonight, and I know that the narrative coming out of this tomorrow out of the Toronto media is going to be Hutchinson's not good enough. They got to upgrade on Hutchinson. This is on Hutchinson. And here's the thing that's been driving me nuts. I'm going to put this in the review. If I hear one more talk about how, well, when Hutchinson comes in relief, he's not very good, why does he need to come in relief? The one time is when Anderson is injured, right? That's the most recent. But before that, there's a reason he ended up in the net, because Anderson was allowing goals too. So it's not pitching, okay? When a goaltender ends up going in, it's usually because your team's getting the crap beat out of them, and you want to rest your starter. Which drives me nuts. I keep hearing, well, in starting, he's 4-0 in his last 4 starts with a 1.4 goals against and a 940 save percentage before tonight. But all we talked about with Hutchinson all night was how, but in relief, well, then maybe stop allowing 6 or 7 goals in a game, so you got to bring in the backup and rest your starter. The Leafs came out hitting and shooting early, and they looked good. And it looked like they had really focused on tonight's game. The Rangers get a power play. Shesterkin denied Matthews. Matthews had a very good game. He's my honorary top 3 star of the night. I understand for Sportsnet's viewers, you're going to be like, well, he got in the 3 stars. Not officially. Not in the official 3 stars, he didn't. Tavares scores from Nylander and Hall at 7:36. Nylander with a shot. The rebound goes to Tavares, and in the net it goes. So for you primary assist people, hey, that wasn't an assist. It was a shot on goal. So just throwing that in there. The Rangers then fought to answer right away. And the Toronto defense wasn't ready for this. Hedl gets a goal from D'Angelo and Stahl at 8:50. Zibanejad hit the post soon after. And if you're the Leafs, this is right about where Sheldon Keefe needs to be calling the team together. I'm not saying necessarily a timeout, but at least on the bench go, look, guys, knock it off. And this is where, with Babcock gone and Keefe in, and Keefe's, the guy that's everything's all happy and jovial, this is where you run into a bit of a problem as in a game like this. So Zibanejad scores from Kreider at 17 minutes and 18 seconds. It's 2-1 Rangers. This is a key moment in the game. Key moment. You've got to come out strong after you're down 2-1. 6 seconds later, the Rangers score again. It's Kreider from Buchnevich and Zibanejad, so it's 17-24. It's 3-1. The Rangers have blown it open. And the defense on that was awful. That was absolutely... I don't think either goal is on Hutchinson, but again, tomorrow, we're going to hear all about Hutchinson now. They should go get Ryan Miller. Is Ryan Miller a huge upgrade on Hutchinson? Did I miss the part where Miller's having a great season? He's having a good season for Anaheim. Is he a huge upgrade on Hutchinson? He's older. It's his last year in all likelihood. And I don't know that he wants to leave Anaheim to go to Toronto. This is where I had to laugh at some media reports too. Like, oh, he may go to Toronto because he wants a chance to compete for the Cup. Yeah, so does Toronto. They're outside the playoffs coming out of tonight. I don't know. Again, second period, the Leafs were up 5-0 in shots at 4 minutes. And you're thinking, all right. So they're getting it back together. The Rangers get a power play, and it was pretty close to 4-1 on a turnover in the Leafs' end. Again, their defense suspect in this game. There were some Igor chants as he held as the period went along. Hyman was then robbed by Shesterkin, but towards the end of the period, Austin Matthews gets his 38th of the season from Janssen and Kapanen at 16:56. And then Buchnevich scores from Shea at 17 minutes and 30 seconds. And then the Rangers almost scored again before the end of the period. And I put up here, defense with a question mark. Because what is going on with this Leafs blue line? All of the talk about how the Leafs need a blue liner, they do. I don't know if it matters how long Anderson's out. Even with Anderson in, that blue line is not good enough. And the score's 4-2 after 2. So third period, around 2 minutes in, Anthony DeAngelo hits a post. Prime chances for the Leafs at around 8.5 minutes. The shots were 6-3, though, for the Rangers at 12 minutes. So again, it's a road game. You should be fighting your way back into it. And it looked like the Rangers were really holding them off and doing a good job of it. And I noticed, too, that they showed the Leafs bench. Now, keep in mind, back when Keefe took over, this was a happy, pretty loose bench, and everybody was talking. Very serious-looking bench, everybody looking straight ahead, and not a lot of chatter among the players or chatter between the coach and the players either. They need to get back. Like, you have to have a happy minimum or medium. You can't have just everybody all yay and being relaxed because you're going to lose. But you need to at least have some kind of communication going on the bench. There's some troubling signs that everything that was going on under Babcock, it's quietly shifted back that way for Toronto, with the exception of the power play. And then CeCe appeared to be hurt. I didn't see if he came back before the end of the game. This was late, so if CeCe went out with a skate problem or whatever, I didn't see him come back in. The Leafs forced a power play with some pressure. And then on said power play, Matthews scores his 39th of the season from Tavares and Marner at 16:32. And the momentum squarely behind the Leafs. So they pull the goalie, and then there's a play behind the Rangers net. Hyman cross-checks Trouba. Dangerous-looking hit. That should have been a penalty. And Trouba gets up and decides, I'm going to mug Hyman. So he starts throwing punches. That should be a penalty. Right? Throwing punches is a penalty. That's roughing. They both dropped the gloves. So what it should have been is 2 on Hyman for cross-check or boarding, one or the other. 2 on Trouba for roughing, and then 5 for fighting on both. The whistle goes, the puck gets dropped in the Rangers' end, and there you go, because that's where the infraction takes place. No. While these guys are trading punches, while the announcers are saying there's a fight going on at the other end of the ice, McKay hits the empty net from Buchnevich at 19:02. So the referees get on the headsets. And what are they reviewing? Whether or not they blew the whistle before the puck went in the net. And they didn't. So, good goal. I'm glad we're reviewing everything so we don't have these kinds of controversies anymore. The whistle should have been blown for the penalties. Any of them. Trouba and Hyman both should have been, I guess, done for the night, because it should have been 7 minutes for both. And Hyman's leaving the ice, blood all over his face. He keeps doing this, and I thought, Zach, you poor guy, you have no idea your face is covered in blood. So this, poor guy. And your final score is 5-3. And all they had to do was blow the whistle while the punches are being thrown before the puck goes in the net. No harm, no foul. Anyways. Hutchinson saved 30 out of 35. His save percentage was .857 tonight. Shesterkin saves 27 out of 30. His save percentage was .900. I thought Shesterkin played well when he had to. And I honestly don't think Hutchinson had a terrible night, but that's what you're going to hear. People are going to look at that save percentage. They're going to blow it up. You know what? That shouldn't be 30 for 35, because that was an empty netter. I don't know why the app was saying 30 for 35. He is 30 for 34. The app reports that wrong. Good thing I caught that. There's a lot of Leaf fans that caught it before that. So, yeah, I know it's going to be easy to pick on Hutchinson coming out of this game, but it's not Hutchinson. 3 stars are Zibanejad, Kreider, and Buchnevich. And again, I would have given Matthews a 2nd star for the fact that he got 2 goals tonight. He looked pretty good. Shots were 13-9 in the first in favor of the Rangers, 12-11 Rangers in the second, 10-10 in the third. Final shots 35-30 in favor of the Rangers. Power plays, Toronto goes 1 for 2. They continue their incredible run on the power play. The Rangers, who had the best power play in the calendar year of 2020, they go 0 for 2 tonight. So they came into tonight with 41% power play this calendar year. That took a little bit of a hit tonight. Not going to be very much, though. So at least there's no controversy in the Chicago-Boston game. Oh, crap. So, Boston comes out of tonight with the unusual overtime win. It's their 5th win in a row. That's not what we're going to be talking about coming out of this game. Oh, no. No. The shots were 3-1 Bruins at 3 minutes. And honestly, the Bruins played very, very well tonight. Leonard started the game very, very strong. For me, he's the first star of the game. Without Robin Leonard, this game doesn't go to overtime. This game is a blowout in favor of the Boston Bruins if you don't get that kind of goaltending. Good chance for Bjork. That was right around the halfway mark. And it was another slow start for the Hawks. This is a problem Chicago's had for a bit here. They're excellent in the third period. They're good at the comebacks. They've got to be better at just the overall playing a full 60 minutes. And this is why they're below the playoff line. More playing the full 60 minutes, they'd be above it. And they're not that far from the playoff line coming out of tonight. The Bruins get a power play. Leonard robbed Marchand during the power play. It's scoreless after one. Second period. Scoring chances early in that period were up to 12-3 in favor of the Bruins. So again, Robin Leonard is robbing the Boston Bruins. At 26 minutes, I put the Hawks need to wake up. The shots were 20-7 in favor of the Bruins. And then the Hawks got a power play. So while they're down 20-7 in shots, they get a power play and they score on it. DeBrincat scores from Doc and Kane at 6 minutes and 50 seconds. And that's your worst fear in every game. Your team's up in shots. They're dominating the game. And then a power play. And the puck ends up in your own net. And it doesn't matter about all that domination early on because you're behind. Lauzon then passed it to Doc. It was a beautiful play. The problem is, Mr. Lauzon, Doc's not on your team, so don't pass it to him. So Jeremy Lauzon, who's been good since the call-up, horrible play, and thankfully he was bailed out by Halak. It was almost 2-0 there. Puck goes the other way. Corrali scores from Grzelcyk and Coyle at 12:49. I'm going to give Chicago huge props here. Now, Chelsea Dagger, it's that earworm that gets in your head every time they score. The fact that they play Tool every time that the visiting team scores is amazing. It is one of my favorite things in hockey is the fact that the band Tool now is back in the soundtracks and arenas around the NHL. And in Chicago, I've noticed that they play Tool every time the visiting team scores. Great. That's absolutely perfect. Whoever made that decision, it's a great idea. It's 1-1. The Hawks get a power play late. They don't score on that one. Gustafsson does hit the post. So Gustafsson got about as close as he can get. There's 1-1 entering the third. Third period. The shots were 4-2 Hawks at the 4-minute mark, and I thought maybe we're in for another strong finish. Boston got the next 6 shots, though, so they were up 8-4 in shots. They had a power play. Leonard came up really, really big. He denied Carson Kuhlman from getting his second of the year. Doc had a breakaway. Here's my honest opinion. I thought he could have been awarded a penalty shot. I think it was Wagner that slashed him. I think he could have been awarded a penalty shot. I've seen penalty shots awarded for less this year. But it's a power play for Chicago. During the power play, DeBrincat gets a post. Goes off Halak, goes off the post, and out. So close to a goal, as close as you can get. DeBrincat is really good on the power play. 5-on-5, his numbers have not been good this year. The Bruins then got a power play with 2 minutes and 26 seconds left. Carpenter took a stick to the face off of a face-off from Bergeron. The referee appeared to be kind of shielded from the play, so he didn't see it. Carpenter had some rather unkind words for the referee on the way to the bench, and the referee said that's enough of that and gave him a 10-minute misconduct. Now, as was pointed out by the announcers, the referee could have given him a 2-minute misconduct penalty or 2-minute unsportsmanlike conduct, and it could have been a 2-man advantage. That would have been awful. That's something I heard that and I thought, God, don't do that. So the 10-minute misconduct happens instead. And then there's a Hawks goal at 18:55. Now, here's the thing. There was a delayed penalty coming up against Torrey Krug. So Krug gets the penalty with 1 minute and 5 seconds left. The puck goes in the net. Okay? And they wave the goal off. Now, they said the whistle went before the puck went in the net. I didn't hear it. I've seen the replay a few times. I didn't hear it. The crowd was very loud. It is possible this has happened in hockey games before the whistle went, and so we don't hear it. It's also possible the referee meant to blow the whistle, and that's the most hated thing in hockey. I hate it as much as anybody else. Now, the replays showed that it was a hand pass at center ice, so the player's going down to the ice. He appears to hit it with his hand. He tries to hit it with his stick. Depending on the angle you look at, the definitive angle I saw, it looked like he did not touch it with his stick. It goes to the Hawks player. I think it was, I'm trying to think if it was Doc or not. I was so busy with the controversy that I think it was Doc's goal. Anyways, they rule that it's a hand pass. It did appear to be a hand pass. So that would rule the goal off anyways. So the Bruins could have challenged for that. So if that goal had counted, the Bruins, Cassidy could have challenged for that, and I think would have been a successful challenge. But the Hawks fans and faithful not happy about that call. And so we end up going to overtime. We go to overtime, and the Hawks have a power play in overtime. Krug comes out of the box and gets a break, which was denied. So he had a breakaway out of the penalty box. He's denied. But on that same play, at 1 minute and 19 seconds, Charlie McAvoy finally gets his first goal of the season. That was assisted by DeBrusk and Krejci at 1:19, and Boston wins the game 2-1. Again, it is a controversial finish. I get it. Hawks fans aren't going to agree with me on this one. Again, they showed it from numerous perspectives. My problem with it was this: the referee saying I blew the whistle, and I never heard it. So I didn't hear it. And as soon as a referee goes, well, I meant to blow the whistle, that's when I'm like, hell with you. So I get it. I do. I get why Hawks fans are upset. And so they get the 1 point instead of the 2 tonight, because they definitely would have held on and won if they'd got that goal there. So really, really tough play. I understand the upset. I'm just trying to explain from watching the game and from what I saw in the replays where I think the referee would have blown the whistle, which would have been on a hand pass, because Boston didn't touch the puck. So they can't say they blew the whistle on a delayed penalty because Boston touched the puck, because they didn't. Halak saves 21 out of 22 in the victory. Leonard saves 38 out of 40 in the loss. For me, he's the number one star. Your 3 stars tonight were McAvoy, Leonard, and Corrali. And McAvoy, I will say this. I understand, again, I know Hawks fans aren't happy. McAvoy's been working so bloody hard lately, and it's about time he got that first goal. He has been so snake bit for weeks, especially the last couple of weeks. He's had so many opportunities that just haven't gone in. Shots were in favor of Boston the entire game. 16-5 in the first, 11-8 in the second, 11-9 in the third, and 2-0 in overtime. Final shots 40-22 in favor of the Boston Bruins. Power plays 0 for 3 for Boston, 1 for 4 for Chicago. So Chicago did have more power plays. They did get the power play goal, but in the end, it's a 4-on-4 goal in overtime after a power play had ended, and that's the end of Chicago and Boston meeting each other this year. And of course, I had anticipated with them going in overtime. I thought, all right, so Boston's getting their 13th overtime loss or shootout loss point because Ottawa's up to 11 and they got to get to 13 because they don't want Ottawa to pass them, but they do get the victory. So right now, tonight, Boston's number 1 overall in the NHL, 1 point ahead of the Capitals. The Capitals do have games in hand on them, but it's still weird to see Boston at number 1. And at the same time, people can go, President's Trophy curse if they get it. Sure, that's fine. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, I do anticipate tonight's games with just the controversial endings. I do anticipate some comments in the comment section that won't be very complimentary of officials or the NHL, and this is the nature of the game, and we're getting closer to the playoffs. So at least with all the replays, there's no more controversies. I told you guys when they announced they were going to change the replay, and everybody's like, well, this is great because now we'll get the right call each time. And I was like, but will we? And there's always going to be the arguments. Thank you guys so much for all your support. There are 12 games tomorrow, so I'm already working on, you can see a little bit of the board right here that I'm working on for tomorrow. I'm already working on tomorrow's boards because it's going to be a crazy night again with 12 games. And then we have a bunch of games on Saturday as well, as the schedule compacts quite quickly, and we'll see huge changes and swings in who's in and out of the playoffs. And for Toronto, it's not going to get easier. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.